You're in a narrow hallway. Doors on both sides stretch endlessly in both directions. The fluorescent lights flicker overhead, casting eerie shadows that dance on the worn carpet. The one door you need, the only one that matters, won't open. You twist the handle desperately, shoulder against the wood, but it remains sealed like a vault. Water rises from the floor, slow at first, seeping through invisible cracks, pulling around your ankles. Then fast, rushing, churning, climbing past your knees toward your waist. The sound is deafening, like a dam bursting in your ears. You try to call for help, fumbling for your phone with trembling fingers, but the screen won't respond. The numbers won't dial. The emergency contact list shows only blank names. You wake up with your heart hammering against your ribs like a caged bird, sweat coating your skin, and one sentence echoing in your head with crystal clarity. If this repeats, it's not random. A week later, it repeats. Same hallway, stretching into infinity. Same locked door that refuses to yield. Same rising water that tastes of salt and fear. The details are sharper now, more vivid. The water is colder. The door handle cuts into your palm. The panic is surgical in its precision. Most dreams are noise, the brain's random filing system working overnight. A few are warnings. Jung paid attention to those, and so should you. Not random. Onward, thinkers. My name is Mr. Halvig, and you're watching The Rational Wise. This is a comprehensive guide to the dream you shouldn't ignore. How to recognize it with scientific precision, how to document it properly, and how to respond without falling into paranoia or superstition. You'll discover 3 concrete signs that separate meaningful dreams from mental noise, a one-page logging system you can keep by your bed that actually works, a proven 7 to 30-day testing protocol to confirm patterns, and a calm, rational response framework that transforms fear into purposeful action. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete toolkit for navigating the intersection between your unconscious mind and your waking reality. No mysticism required, just pattern recognition and intelligent response. 3 signs. First sign, recurrence with escalation. This isn't just any recurring dream. The dream returns with the same structural spine. The locked door, the malfunctioning phone, the rising water, even if surface details shift and change. But here's the crucial element. It escalates. Each return brings heightened intensity. The emotion cuts deeper, the imagery becomes more vivid, the timing feels more urgent. The water that once tickled your ankles now reaches your chest. The door that was merely stuck now feels welded shut. The phone that wouldn't dial now crumbles in your hands. Think of it as your psyche's emergency broadcast system. A warning usually knocks twice. The first knock gets your attention, but the second knock is louder, more insistent, impossible to ignore. Your unconscious mind understands that subtle messages get lost in the chaos of daily life, so it amplifies the signal until you listen. This escalation pattern follows a predictable curve. Initial occurrence, brief quiet period, return with increased intensity, then either resolution through action or continued escalation until you respond. Recurrence plus escalation. Second sign, numinosity. The dream sticks to you like psychological Velcro. Hours later, maybe even days later, you still feel the dream in your body. One image won't release its grip on your mind. You wake with a sentence burned into your consciousness, a symbol etched behind your eyelids, or a certainty you can't rationally explain but can't deny. Random dreams fade like morning fog, vivid for moments, then gone. Warning dreams cling. They carry what psychologists call a clean emotional tone. pure fear, crystalline urgency, or a quiet pay attention that returns during the day like a persistent tap on the shoulder. You'll find yourself in the middle of routine activities, brushing teeth, checking emails, waiting in traffic, when the dream image suddenly resurfaces with startling clarity. Not as memory, but as presence, as if the dream is actively trying to communicate something your waking mind hasn't yet grasped. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit the like button. It helps more than you think. Now let's continue. The numinous quality isn't just emotional weight, it's the sense that you've touched something beyond ordinary experience. Ancient cultures called this big dreams or true dreams, distinguishing them from ordinary sleep noise. Modern psychology recognizes this as the activation of deep pattern recognition systems in the brain. Numinous feeling. Third sign, convergence. The dream symbol starts echoing in your waking life within days or weeks, creating an unmistakable resonance between inner and outer experience. Locked doors manifest as blocked access, permissions denied, opportunities stalled, conversations that won't happen. Rising water mirrors overwhelm, deadlines flooding in, responsibilities drowning out priorities, emotions threatening to submerge rational thinking. Endless corridors feel like decisions delayed, choices avoided, paths unexplored stretching into anxiety-inducing uncertainty. The key insight, meanings are intensely personal. You're not consulting a dream dictionary or following universal symbols. You're recognizing the unique language your psyche uses to communicate with your conscious mind. The match between image and life circumstance is what matters, not some predetermined interpretation. When dream and day start rhyming, when the metaphorical becomes literal, when the symbolic becomes circumstantial, you're witnessing genuine convergence. This isn't coincidence or confirmation bias. It's your unconscious mind's sophisticated early warning system highlighting patterns your conscious mind hasn't yet recognized. The timing of convergence matters too. True warning dreams typically manifest their waking parallels within 7 to 21 days, sometimes extending to 30 days for complex life patterns. Beyond that time frame, you're likely dealing with general anxiety or processing dreams, not specific warnings. Convergence. Start with a one-page log that strips away mysticism and focuses on data. Keep it stupidly simple. Complexity kills consistency, and consistency is what reveals patterns. 4 essential elements: date, exact date, including day of the week. Central image in 5 words maximum: locked door, rising water, endless hallway. Not a novel, not a detailed description, just a core visual that dominated the dream. Dominant emotion in 1 to 3 words: panic, frustration, trapped urgency. Again, precision over poetry. Waking context. What's happening right now in your life? The deadline approaching, the decision pending, the conflict brewing, the relationship tension, the health concern. 1 line maximum. You're creating a bridge between unconscious symbol and conscious circumstance. If the dream repeats, add 1 crucial line: changes since last time. How did the intensity shift? What details evolved? Did new elements appear? This tracks the escalation pattern and helps you recognize when the warning system is amplifying its message. You are not decoding the mysteries of the universe. You're building a simple timeline so reality can teach you its patterns without triggering panic or superstitious thinking. The log is your anchor to objectivity in subjective experience. Next comes the 7 to 30-day test. This isn't waiting around. It's disciplined pattern spotting inside a clear time box. Give yourself 1 month where you pay calm attention and ask 2 straight questions, No poetry, no gymnastics. First question, did this dream repeat? Not a cousin with similar vibes, not a remix of themes. The same spine and the same emotional signature. Answer it like a switch, yes or no. Second question, did something in waking life rhyme with the dream's core image? Locked doors showing up as blocked access, rising water becoming overwhelmed that keeps climbing, a dead phone turning into messages that don't land, or calls that never connect. Again, yes or no. If both land on yes, treat it as an active warning. The pattern is live and deserves a small safeguard. If both land on no, archive the dream and move on. Gratitude in, rumination out. If one is yes and the other is no, keep an eye on it for a few more days without changing your plans. Think of it like a traffic light you carry in your pocket. Green means go live your life. Amber means watch without panic. Red means take one concrete action now. No stretching to make it fit. If you have to argue with yourself to call it a match, it isn't. Why the month? Because a boundary protects your mind. 30 days is long enough for real convergence to appear, short enough to prevent superstition. If nothing clear shows by then, you're likely processing stress, not previewing fate. This is how you stay open to guidance without handing over the steering wheel. Respect the image, respect the clock, respect your lane. Let reality confirm what the night suggested, and let it go when it doesn't. 7 to 30-day test. Finally, respond intelligently. Act, don't obey. That difference keeps you both receptive and rational. A warning dream isn't a boss, it's a nudge. Not fate carved in stone, but a signal saying, realign here before this grows. Turn the image into one small safeguard today. If the dream is a locked door, ask for access in writing, book the meeting, or choose an alternate path that doesn't depend on that gate. If it's rising water, reduce load. Cut one commitment, narrow the scope, ask for help. If it's a dead phone, repair the channel, call directly, confirm in writing, remove a middleman. Not tomorrow, today. Tiny moves made early prevent heroic rescues later. Use this line to commit. Until this resolves, I will one concrete action. Vague vows don't work. I'll be more careful as vapor. I'll schedule the medical appointment I've postponed. I'll send the decision request by 5 p.m. I'll decline that extra task this week. Those change the day. Keep an action economy, one action per cycle, one day to implement. After 24 hours, note in your log what you did and what shifted. If the image repeats with escalation, you escalate one step, loop in a manager, adjust the deadline, reschedule the trip, see the specialist. If it softens or disappears, you've likely corrected course. Keep living. A brief example. The dead phone keeps showing up. By day, your messages vanish in a group thread. Today's safeguard, set a direct call, then follow with a short written summary. Result, the person finally hears you. The next night, the phone rings in the dream. Signal restored. Not magic, maintenance. If the symbol hints at health or safety, act with humility. Consult qualified professionals. Dreams can point, they don't diagnose. Calm, informed steps always beat anxious superstition or reckless certainty. Remember the posture. You aren't surrendering to a prophecy. You're partnering with reality. One clear action, one clear day, then you let time answer. That's how you stay guided without giving up the will act. Don't obey. Let's walk the whole thing once so theory becomes practice. Night 1. The hallway dream hits. Narrow corridor, locked door, rising water. You wake and write one clean line. Tuesday, 4/11, locked door, rising water, tight chest panic. Big review Friday, 2 approvals stalled. You live your day, no analysis, just the line. Day 3, no repeat, but life hums with pressure. Your light stays amber, watchful, not anxious. Day 7, it repeats, sharper. Water to the knees, the handle cuts the palm. New line, repeat Y, escalation. Colder water, handle sharp, urgency higher. First question is, yes. You notice a small echo in waking life. Another meeting gate kept, access still blocked. Day 9 to 12. Convergence becomes hard to ignore. Emails pile up unanswered. 2 approvals remain stuck. A calendar invite vanishes. Second question moves to yes. That flips your pocket light to red. Confirmed warning. 1 safeguard today. Your response, 1 action. You schedule an earlier review, ask directly for the 2 decisions in writing, and trim the project scope to reduce dependence on the locked gate. 1 day, 1 move. In your log, you write, action, pulled review forward, requested decisions by Thursday 5 p.m., reduced scope by 15%. Day 14. The dream returns, but softer. The corridor is still narrow, yet the door gives a little. Water holds at the ankles instead of climbing. You write, repeat Y, intensity down, handle moves. Your nervous system learns something simple. Action changes weather. Optional branch, if the pattern was ambiguous. If you had yes, no, or no, yes, you would have stayed amber for 7 more days, logging calmly, not changing plans, then close the case if nothing aligned. No stretching to make it fit, you let reality decide. Day 18 to 21. 1 approval lands, the other schedules for next week. You keep the anchors, coffee, movement, dinner, so you remain readable to humans while the work unknots. Result. The next dream is a shorter hallway. The handle turns. Water drains through a floor grate you hadn't noticed. Same life, fewer leaks. Not magic, not superstition. Maintenance. A signal rose, you responded early. The system rebalanced. You can run this loop every month. Log the image, test for 7 to 30 days. Take 1 safeguard when both answers are yes. Small actions, big relief. Slow reveal, what the dream is really doing. Here's the slow reveal, the deeper truth about warning dreams that changes everything. The dream isn't trying to scare you, it's trying to rebalance you. When life bends too far in any direction, too much delay, too much pressure, too much denial, too much avoidance, your psyche generates corrective imagery. It sends symbols with emotional weight so you feel in your body what your busy schedule and rational defenses have been hiding from your awareness. The rising water isn't predicting a flood. It's showing you the sensation of being overwhelmed before the overwhelm becomes unmanageable. The locked door isn't forecasting failure. It's highlighting where you feel blocked before the blockage becomes permanent. The broken phone isn't prophesying isolation. It's pointing to communication breakdowns before they destroy relationships. Your unconscious mind operates like a sophisticated early warning system, detecting patterns and imbalances before they reach crisis levels. Dreams are its preferred communication method because they bypass the rational mind's tendency to minimize, rationalize, or dismiss important information. The goal isn't to decode every dream or find hidden meanings in random sleep images. The goal is to recognize when your inner wisdom is trying to point you toward the one area where timely action could make a significant difference. Back to the narrow hallway where we started. The corridor stretches endlessly in both directions. Fluorescent lights still flicker overhead. The door remains stuck. Water continues climbing. But now you have the complete protocol for response. You wake with your heart hammering, but instead of panic, you feel prepared. You reach for the dream log, documenting the essential elements with clinical precision. You run the 7 to 30-day test with patient objectivity. When convergence appears, you pick one concrete safeguard and implement it immediately. You send the email that clarifies the stalled decision. You set the boundary on the project that keeps expanding beyond reasonable limits. You schedule the conversation that addresses the growing tension. You make the appointment you've been postponing. You sleep again that night, not because the problems have vanished, but because you've responded intelligently. The hallway appears in your next dream, shorter this time. The door handle moves when you turn it. The water holds steady at ankle level instead of rising toward your chest. The phone in your pocket shows full signal strength, not magic, not mysticism, not supernatural intervention, alignment. The simple result of listening to your inner wisdom and responding with appropriate action before small problems become large crises. Align, then sleep. If this helped you understand the difference between random dreams and meaningful warnings, I want to hear from you. Comment below with the symbol that keeps returning in your dreams. Door, water, stairs, phone, falling, being chased, or something entirely different. And share one small action you'll take this week based on what you've learned. I read every comment personally, and I'll choose several of the most interesting symbols to analyze in a follow-up video where we decode the most common warning patterns and their typical life correlations. Your experience could help someone else recognize their own warning system. If you missed the previous video in this series, watch They Call It Paranoia. Jung called it perception, survival rules for the highly aware. To learn how to maintain stable relationships while acting on the subtle patterns you notice that others miss. It's the perfect companion to this dream work. Let me know what you think in the comments. I read every single one. And of course, subscribe for more high-value content. Onward, thinkers!